All right, welcome to this explainer. Today we're throwing on our diagnostic gloves to figure out exactly why your revenue has completely flatlined, and more importantly, how to resuscitate it using the precise methodology from the Ronin Report. We're going to be digging into the 25-year track record of Justin Results French. This is a guy who has generated over $100 million in revenue, and we're looking at the exact framework he uses to audit businesses that have just hit a brick wall. So if you feel like you are working harder than ever, pulling these grueling 80-hour weeks, but your bank account is practically ghosting you, well, you're in exactly the right place. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover 1. The core revenue diagnostic, 2. The math of scaling, 3. Engineering the right room, 4. Fixing ads and outreach, and finally, discipline, data, and results. Let's dive right in.
Starting off with Section 1, the core revenue diagnostic.
I want you to be totally honest with yourself for a second. Has your revenue just hit a ceiling that you cannot seem to break through no matter how hard you hustle? The psychological toll of a stuck business is incredibly heavy. You're missing out on family time, you're grinding all weekend, and the baseline just stays painfully stagnant. It turns out most operators who get stuck vastly underestimate their daily inputs. Justin has audited over 200 businesses, and he noticed this startling pattern. Revenue stagnation is almost never a strategy problem. Actually, it's a conversation problem.
You know what happens when founders see flat revenue? They totally panic. They order up these completely unnecessary surgeries for their business. We're talking complete funnel redesigns, super expensive rebranding exercises, or, worst of all, they just torch 10 grand on meta ads hoping for a miracle. But here's the thing. Beautiful strategy decks do not move the needle when your foundational inputs are broken. Instead of treating the actual disease with systemic discipline and just measuring their daily actions, they end up chasing shiny new objects. It's literally trying to outmarket a broken baseline.
Justin tells us that if you want to diagnose a stalled business, you really only need to check 2 vital signs before you look at absolutely anything else. Number 1, how many pieces of content are you posting every single day? And number 2, how many direct conversations about your offer are you having per day? That's it. That's the entire diagnostic. If those 2 numbers are flat, your revenue is going to be flat. It's a non-negotiable mathematical truth. Let's trace the chain reaction here. Volume drives visibility. Visibility drives credibility in your market, credibility drives conversations, and those conversations are what actually drive the revenue. Take a look at the story of Jim, the lazy Canadian. Jim didn't use some massive high-tech studio. He literally just posted 10 to 20 raw videos a day for 2 years straight. That relentless, simple volume built a baseline that now brings in 30 grand a month. The playbook works, for sure, but only if you have the discipline to actually execute it.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, the math of scaling.
This brings us to what's called the magic wand method. It's this profound way to reverse engineer your workload so you don't burn out. If you wave a magic wand and set a massive revenue target, you have to realistically look at the hours required to fulfill it, right? A small client paying you $1,000 a month might only take up 2 hours of your week, but a high-ticket client paying $5,000 or $10,000, that might take multiple deep dive days. If your absolute maximum physical capacity is 40 hours a week, you literally cannot scale a massive business on the backs of low-tier clients without burning yourself out before you ever reach your goal. You have to adjust your tiers.
And the math becomes staggeringly simple once you actually adjust those tiers. Check this out. Secure just 4 high-value clients at $5 grand a month, and boom, you've established a concrete $20,000 monthly baseline. This principle of focusing on high-ticket offers is everything. You've got to protect your margins by deliberately keeping your client count low and your price per engagement high. Take a really hard look at your own roster right now. Are you bogged down by 20 low-paying clients demanding all of your time, leaving you with absolutely zero capacity to go after the big fish?
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, engineering the right room.
Now, this is a massive paradigm shift. Listen, pitching a premium $5,000 offer to a room full of early-stage founders who only have $500 budgets, it's literally like trying to sell snow to a penguin. You absolutely must change your environment. Justin even admitted that despite his massive track record, there was a time he wasn't hitting his own baseline. And why? Because he was simply talking to the wrong people. His fix was totally environmental. He went to a biotech industry luncheon at the top of a downtown San Diego high-rise. He swapped a room of low-budget prospects for a room of executives who actually had budgets. The math changed instantly, simply because the room changed.
And this aligns flawlessly with the Sharon Doctrine, named after Justin's co-host and resident expert on margin protection. According to Sharon, solo operators absolutely thrive by limiting their client counts, protecting their time, and raising their prices to match the true value they deliver. Look, If you're delivering highly custom solutions, trying to manage 50 client accounts by yourself is going to completely collapse your quality control. 10 clients is a much, much healthier ceiling. Think of it like a seasoned real estate agent. They actively filter their book of business, referring out the starter homes so they can focus exclusively on high-margin luxury properties. You've got to filter your clients the exact same way.
All right, part 4, fixing ads and outreach. Brace yourself for this one. 80%, yes, 80% of companies completely waste their ad spend. And the kicker? It's not because of bad creative or terrible copy. It's almost always due to completely broken tracking systems. Justin has managed over 1,000 paid ad campaigns, and the waste basically always stems from the tech baseline. We're talking a misconfigured Google Tag Manager, or a metapixel that fires incorrectly, which means Facebook's algorithm is suddenly optimizing for the completely wrong type of customer. If your infrastructure is broken, you have no real data. And without real data, your optimizations are just incredibly expensive guesses.
But when you fix that underlying infrastructure, the results are unbelievable. Take Justin's client, 4X Off-Road. When he came in as their fractional chief revenue officer and repaired their broken tracking systems, their cost per lead plummeted by a massive 73%. It went from $150 a lead down to just $40. And they didn't launch a magic new product or change their target audience. They used the exact same platforms, but with a fully repaired, data-rich system running underneath it all. Just imagine the financial relief of that kind of efficiency.
So if you're bleeding budget waiting for a dead ad to just magically warm up past the 2-week mark, you are practicing amateur hour. You've got to follow the strict crawl, walk, run 2-week sprint rule instead. You launch and you monitor strictly for 14 days, because ad algorithms actually need that baseline time to learn. If it's not converting after 2 weeks, you pivot. But here is the absolute secret. Pivot only one variable at a time. Maybe just tweak the headline or just the landing page. It's the scientific method in action. If you change 5 things at once, you're never going to know what actually caused the improvement. Find validation first, then you scale.
Okay, shifting gears from paid ads to organic outreach. Burn this rule into your mind right now. We all absolutely hate getting those instant pitch DMs on LinkedIn, right? Pitching someone the exact second they accept your connection request is literally the fastest way to flatline a relationship. You have to treat outbound messaging like a first date. You wouldn't sit down at a restaurant and propose marriage before the appetizers even arrive. Build rapport naturally, find out where they actually are in their journey, offer genuine value first, and just let the interest emerge organically.
One of the community members, Timo, used this exact 4-step protocol to build a massive 21,000 subscriber AI newsletter. First, he checks their profile to validate they're a real active person. Second, he genuinely engages with their posts in the feed. Third, he sends a highly personalized direct message. And fourth, he just offers his newsletter as a free, valuable resource. By treating a new follower as a warm signal to start a real conversation, rather than a green light for a hard, aggressive sale, Timo got over 400 other creators to actively recommend his work. It's brilliant.
And finally, Section 5, Discipline, Data, and Results.
The real-world data of applying this kind of discipline really speaks for itself. Look at Christel. She achieved rapid visibility, getting over 1,000 views in 14 days by meticulously using an AI-generated knowledge base to keep her volume high. Or look at Cuaave, who closed a massive $15 million pre-seed round. Cuaave didn't just stumble into a room and get lucky, right? He spent a whole year deliberately learning the venture capital game, gathering strictly validated data, and making absolutely sure every single decision maker was in the room before he ever revealed his terms. Your highly deliberate actions totally dictate your results.
So, to achieve these kinds of massive wins, you have to master what's called the AA method, accurate, aligned actions. Every single move you make must be mathematically accurate and deeply aligned with your goals. Think about it this way. Say you're running perfectly optimized, technically brilliant ads to sell a product that you actually hate delivering. Well, that action is technically accurate, but it's deeply misaligned with your life goals. On the flip side, an action that's aligned with your heart but technically wrong is just wasted effort. You absolutely need both accuracy and alignment to generate sustainable profit and happiness.
But ultimately, all this intense revenue math, the margin protection, the operational discipline, it all builds towards something way bigger. It builds toward the 4 final legacy questions we're all going to ask ourselves at the end of the line. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I make a difference? Justin points out that founders who only chase the dollar first almost always end up stuck. You have to build a strong mind and a strong heart before you can build a truly lasting bank account.
So as you audit your own daily conversations and refine your math today, I want to leave you with this question.
Are you just building a machine that pays the bills, or are you engineering a legacy that's going to echo long after you're done working? The math is completely in your hands. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.